I think the speed at which awareness is being built is very small. 1 out of 10 Indians are mentally ill, according to the NIMANS study, across the country. 150 million people need immediate attention. There are only 10,000 psychiatrists and psychologists across the country. 10,000 people to reach 1.3 billion Indians is impossible. But when people start talking about it, it is much better. Physical hygiene is as important, but mental hygiene is more important. If you do not help yourselves, understand your feelings, heal them, you're going to get into big trouble. Brain has not changed its size, shape, color, and its chemistry. But what has happened is, the world around us has changed, and depression is more common than dengue and malaria. As many people die of depression as accidents. So what is very important across the country is, we need to have a mental health movement, and that has to be a people-based movement and not a professional-based movement. Also what is very important is, our entire system of education, our entire system of work is so driven against mental health that corporates might put big posters about their vision and mission, but people leave their offices after 12 to 14 hours. And when sleep is compromised, because everybody is looking at the videos after night, and when the mood is compromised, what happens is depression. We need to identify stress earlier and beat stress to prevent depression. We need to identify those who are depressed early so that we can save lives. What is very important is, in spite of such a mammoth change happening around us, we need to find easy solutions. And one of them is YESS, Y-E-S-S. Y is yoga, E is exercise, sleep is planning your sleep, and the other fourth S is doing something for the community. We have seen, in my experience, that young boys and girls who do household work, little household work, and do something for the community have much saner minds than those who run after grades all the time and run after admissions all over the world. And the key is, help people share bad news early. And when people share bad news early, what is very important is they put the emotions on the table, help will reach them, and they might be saved. At the same time, it prevents severe stress and severe depression. We need a mental health movement in the country. We need a mental health minister to take charge of our mental health. In fact, in England, we have a ministry for loneliness. In Australia, they had a mental health minister for some time. So mental health has to be as important as Swachh Bharat, as GST, as Ujjwal, as Ujjwala, and all other schemes.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, please, sir. No, you please.
How does one know that he is depressed?
If somebody feels that he doesn't feel like going to work, when everybody is laughing, he is not able to laugh or smile. He's very irritable early in the morning, and he feels either he should harm himself or harm somebody else. Sleep and appetite, if it's less or if it is more. He feels he is the cause of all the problems in the family. He feels hopeless, useless, and worthless, and sometimes he feels that it's better dead than alive. Sometimes there are rare symptoms, Amitabh-ji, that is pain across the body.
Yeah,
Tiredness
so that's
across
what my question was, because there may be several reasons why I don't want to go to work in the morning, and that may not be depression. But the point is that if there's something physical that can be recognized, is there something like that?
We're all depressed. We don't want to go to work in the morning.
No, Amitabh-ji, but if you don't feel like going every day for at least 15 days, you need to look at it. If you have one thought of dying, you need to screen. You need to screen yourself for depression. Sir, it would be very shocking to understand that if you screen people for depression, approximately 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5 people are depressed. They may need some counseling, they may need some help. But exercise is an antidepressant which is being underestimated.
Right.
Yoga is an antidepressant which is being underestimated. Mild, moderate depression, you need to do other things. But when there's a fracture of the mind, forget yoga, forget exercise, land up in the house of or clinic of a psychologist, a psychiatrist. We need to differentiate between sprain and fracture of the mind. Sprain is stress of the mind. You go out for a holiday, you meet Amitabh Bachchan and laugh with him.
Get depressed. You meet Amitabh Bachchan, you get depressed.
Yeah, it could happen anytime. The point is, if somebody is intelligent enough to identify that he's depressed, I mean, how is that possible?
Intelligence is not the sole factor to identify depression. It's awareness.
Yeah, whatever.
The most intelligent
How
people...
can I identify myself to be depressed?
If I do not feel like speaking to my spouse or speaking to my child...
Oh, that's pretty normal in most...
No.
I mean,
Maybe that's why India.
If you do not feel like speaking to your wife or your children for a long time, if you feel like your interest in your work has gone down, if you feel like not laughing when everybody's laughing, or you laugh much more than what others laugh, if you feel like wanting to drink alcohol much more than what others do, if you feel like at times
We're
weight
all
loss,
depressed, man.
pain in abdomen, and also extreme exhaustion without any physical reason is a sign of depression.
no, but seriously, sir, is
Yes,
there
sir.
some scientific methodology
Absolutely, sir.
that
Absolutely.
that you can go into a checkup and say, hey, look, you know, I may be having cancer, I may be having this. We go to hospital and we get a
Yes,
checkup.
yes.
Is there some scientific technology that
Absolutely.
can actually gauge
Absolutely.
scientifically
Absolutely.
that you're depressed?
There may not be any blood test. There may not be any MRI scans because some people say MRI ठीक है तो मुझे कुछ नहीं हुआ है. There are psychological tests. One easy psychological test for the masses is to rate themselves on PHQ-9, which has been validated in the country in more than 12 languages. And with this test, you can find out whether you're mildly depressed, not depressed, moderately depressed, or severely depressed.
What is that? PHQ?
PHQ-9.
What's that?
It's a scale where there are 9 symptoms where it checks the severity. Mental science is not rocket science.
No, but how did they come to this gauge?
They rate themselves on the scale for the symptoms over the last 15 days.
So what are some of the things on the scale?
Not wanting to go to work.
You come
And
back
what
to
you
normal.
said. If Amitabh
That's being
Bachchan
normal.
refuses to come to work for the last 15 days, then we should actually rate Amitabh Bachchan ji also.